What's up, guys? It's Harry Haas here, and today I'm going to be going over GNUS and CIDM trade recap. Plus, I'm going to talk about how I dealt with FOMO on my CIDM trade in order to win. And second of all, not a licensed financial advisor. This is not investment advice, even if it may seem like it. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So on GNUS, just I thought I would kind of include some of the, share statistics and valuation measures. Obviously, we have 512 million market cap, and we also have a high amount of shares outstanding. Something that I do take into account. Again, it's not like if it has 77 million shares outstanding, then I'm not going to trade it. I really just pay attention to kind of the volume, the chart pattern, the range, and some of kind of the bigger picture metrics in the trade, rather than just saying, well, if it's under a 10 million float, I can't do this, or if it's over this amount. I think risk management is really the holy grail. And, if I'm wrong on something like this, I can just stop out easily. But it's just good to kind of include it if you want to kind of backtest and go over stuff. So basically with GNUS, it was a multi-day runner. We had a lot of trap shorts. We had intense volume, and I use the word intense because we had literally 100 mil done by Zombie, and I remember just saying like, to in the main chat, like, this is crazy. Like, we are at 100 mil by Zombie time. Like, this is intense. We have tons of new people getting into the market. We have people on Robinhood and opening up TD Ameritrade and E-Trade, and just some crazy amounts of new people coming into the market. So with all these new people, it brings a whole new batch of volume, and it's insane. And so intense volume can bring big swings to the upside, but it can also bring big swings to the downside as well. Because when you have a lot of people buying, if we have double the amount of people buying and double the amount of people selling, well, those moves are going to be almost doubled, right? So you have to kind of adjust in the new market. And that's what I kind of found myself, in the first couple days. Like, I just wasn't adapting. Like, I wasn't used to these crazy downside swings, these crazy upside swings. So now my kind of rule on it is that if you think it can't fall that low, it probably can. And if you think that it can't go up that high, it probably can. And those are two things that have kind of kept me safe. And, I'm really happy that I've kind of adjusted, well. Obviously, patience is key. And that's a big thing, because there are a lot of times where you want to FOMO in, you want to chase. But at the end of the day, those are not good habits. And you may win on 10 chases, but the one chase where you lose, you can pay the price, because you can have stocks that just drop $1.50 in a couple, like, less than a minute, and then you're kind of stuck saying, holy crap, like, I'm down so much. And that's why I don't chase. It's better risk reward to buy into dips, and it's better to be patient and wait for a dip than to say to yourself, oh my gosh, like, like, I'm gonna chase this and I'm gonna make bank and it's gonna go to the moon. Like, it's just better off for you to be patient, to wait. You'll be 100% less emotional, and like, you'll be rewarded for your patience. Whereas if you're emotional and you just buy, you may be rewarded a couple times, but on the times where you're not rewarded, you're really screwed. So this is also kind of the daily chart on it on this day. This was the day where it kind of gapped up. Obviously, this was kind of where it finished at, but I just thought I would kind of include. We got this it kind of started to run. I consider this like a day 2 or a day 3, even though we kind of gapped up here. Like, not that many people were really paying attention to it. I mean, like, we didn't really have a lot of range. Not many people were talking about it. So it is a multi-day runner. But I mean, after we had that run from 3 to 4, that's when people started buying. That's when people started getting involved in it. That's where people were saying, okay, this is crazy. Like, GNUS, it's the next big one. It's the next big thing. And so, I mean, to me, I really kind of consider this a day 2 move, even though it is like a multi-day runner. But I mean, I didn't start hearing about GNUS on this day. No one seemed to be talking about GNUS here. Like, obviously people weren't talking about GNUS here, but when we got that move from 3 to 4, people were like, holy crap, like GNUS, like, it's the next big thing, baby. So, I mean, it was more so that I call things like a day two if it's like the second day where I've heard about it. Like when you have people posting in main chat going like, "Holy crap, GNUS made this big run." That's kind of like the first day, or like the first day that it really started getting some attention. And then after, obviously, we got this big move. Everyone in the market knows about it. Everyone's talking about it. GNUS, hot stock, hot chick. So it's kind of my metrics on it because I was like, oh, day two, and a lot of people were like, no, this is a multi-day runner, it's a multi-day runner. But in my opinion, it's more so like a day two play. It'll act more so like a day two play. This almost even acted like a day one play as well. So I mean, it just really depends. I mean, that is just kind of my perspective on it, I guess. This is the trades that I made on it. Again, I know that we're gonna probably have a lot of people say like, holy crap, like this is crazy, but I just wanted to kind of go over my thought process on it. So we can see here, down here, before we get into these individual trades, we can see down here that obviously we had some insane, intense volume. And, we did. We had unbelievable amounts of volume. We were trading at 100 million by 10:30 by zombie time, and people were just buying this thing, pure frontside play. And this is kind of how I want to describe it. So basically, at the open, I was looking to kind of buy a dip into a pop, and we kind of got that dip. And after that, I just kind of sold into a pop like 550. Like the range here is great, and I just wanted to take it off, so I sold into kind of 550. I didn't rebuy this dip down here. Maybe I should have, but I was kind of more so like we had already had this big move. I kind of expected it to pull back more. It didn't. It kept going higher. I mean, that's okay. But again, I can't just chase up here hoping for a breakout higher, right? Like that usually I do not have good experiences with that, and that usually does not work for me. So again, I was kind of thinking, okay, maybe the $5 line might support. We kind of found a little bit of support down here the last time, so I said, okay, I'll look to buy into kind of this $5 area, which it ended up holding, which is good. And it started kind of creeping up again. And I was noticing that usually when we get this slam, if we don't get this kind of higher low action and it doesn't drop lower, it's a lot stronger than a lot of people think. And that's kind of exactly what we got. And I just kind of sold all the way up. And I just said, okay, I'm just going to look to buy dips now. And that was when you get into that mindset of buying the dips. Like I was reluctant to even post this because this is such an outlier trade that does not happen every single day. We were just doing so much volume, so many people were talking about it. It was pure front side. People were looking to short it, hoping that we go back down to 4 or 3 or whatever. But we just had so much volume and so many people trading the stock, and the float, was rotated like crazy enough. We had like 70 million shares outstanding, and the float was already rotated once. Like that is insane. And I basically just kind of got in the mode of like, okay, I'm just gonna look to buy dips. And down here, I don't even expect something like this to happen. That's what's so crazy is that people are like, oh, how'd you know? Well, the truth is that I really don't. I mean, as much as I can sit here and say, yeah, I knew this was going to go to 7.5, I had no clue. I'm not trying to think about too far ahead in the future. I'm just kind of trying to focus on the lines now and how I can make money down here. So my mindset was like, okay, I'm just going to kind of look to buy the dips. It was kind of supporting down here as well. I kind of had a scale all the way down. Basically, I just kind of was just quickly selling into pops because at this point, it was just so crazy. We were having a battle between buyers and sellers. And when we moved on to 550, 550 was holding so well. And I wasn't looking to buy in this kind of range. I could have probably bought this and then I could have probably bought the first initial dip into 550, but I was just gonna leave it alone because I was thinking that okay, this could be kind of a higher low and we could kind of pull back lower. But we had tested this 550 so many times, and when 550 should have broke down, this is something important to note. When 550 should have broken down and it didn't, and we kind of had that surprise hold, that was when I was like, okay, this stock is a lot stronger. There are still buyers. There are still people looking. Because, I mean, there's one of two scenarios that can happen. Yes, we can push all the way to 7.5, but also if this 550 had a broken, we probably would have went down to $5, and that's why I was kind of a little reluctant to take the trade here, but I took it anyway because I was like, okay, I was just being patient. I mean, it tested 550 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. I mean, I was sitting there just anticipating saying, okay, break down, because I kind of had orders down here at this 5. And I was expecting kind of more so a death candle like this, where I had orders down here at kind of 5. And in this scenario, this type of stock, I mean, it's really hard to preset, it's really hard to read the, it's really hard to read the tape on the fly. So I'm always presetting on stocks like this. And, some people will say, yeah, that's a little scary or a little, whatever. But the more you trade and the more experience you get, the better kind of the better you'll get at it. And so basically 550 tried, couldn't end up, so I just took some here. I quickly sold into this kind of $6 whole number. I had a feeling that a lot of people would say, okay, I want to sell at 6. 6 is where I'm selling. 6 is where I'm selling, because I mean, this was just a tug of war down here. I mean, it was gut wrenching to watch. And so yeah, sold in. I immediately kind of put it back on because I noticed that this kind of old resistance was being used as support. And then I just kind of was like, after I put this kind of back on, my mindset was just like, okay, I'm gonna let it run a little bit because like we're breaking out into a new range. Obviously, it wants to go higher, and yeah, it did. And I did kind of sell some and kind of just recycle a little bit here on the way up. And the reason why I put this back on, is because I think a lot of people were thinking that this is going to be the top, this is going to be the top, this is going to be the top. And when we kind of get in those scenarios, like basically, had this been like a death candle, I would have stopped out right away and then probably looked to add like down here at 550, just kind of like I did over here. But we were just so strong on the way up, and we were just holding so well, and people were just still buying this thing at 6.5 that I was like, okay, I'm going to take some into the dip here. And again, that's exactly what I did. And then once we got to this kind of $7.5, $8 area, I was just selling up here because I'm like, okay, I'm done. This can go to 9, this can go to 10, this can go to wherever. We were due for some pullback. And of course, you have to remember that VWAP is like in the 670 area at this time. So like the distance from VWAP is insane. It's crazy. And I was just saying to myself, like, okay, we're in need of a pullback now. I mean, when VWAP is right here and we're trading up here, yeah, it's pretty far away, but now we're really far away from VWAP. People are thinking this is going to go to 10, 20, 30. And so I just said, okay, now I'm going to wait for a death candle. And I just patiently waited, and I said, okay, well, this was kind of like the last area of support, the last real area of support. So I just kind of had some orders down here. Got filled right out of the halt, and I knew that a lot of people, like, when we get these massive dips, we usually get kind of some great range for the stock to kind of go higher. And I mean, that's what we got. It was just a nice kind of there were people, I think, buying here hoping that it was going to pass 8 and that, but I think we just had too many people trapped. Or scared, or they were like, okay, I'm just going to take my gains at 7 and leave. And, that's practically perfectly fine with me. I was just literally playing off this, like, old support line. And, yeah, that was pretty much this trade. I mean, there's not really else to say. I mean, it was more so just, I was surprised even with myself with how kind of reactive I was in this trade and how confident I was. And I mean, confidence, again, it's a double-edged sword. Some days you're really confident, and that can make you want to hold something like a loser. Other days you are other days, you're not really confident and you end up letting a winner kind of get away from you. So it's really just, for me, it was experience. It really reminded me of GNPX, which I think I have a trade recap on that somewhere. And I mean, yeah, that's really what it kind of reminded me of. And I was just really happy that I was able to kind of get this move. And I mean, that's really pretty much it. I was just, kind of going line to line, just like taking it as it comes, and yeah, I was just really happy with how it turned out. So this is CIDM. Maybe I should have wrote CIDM right there, but this is the CIDM. So obviously we have again like 102 mil shares outstanding. 51% institutional ownership. The market cap 288 mil. So I mean, yeah, this is pretty much that one, and yeah, it worked out pretty well. And this is a big lesson on how not to get involved with FOMO. So a little kind of background on this trade is that I was kind of a little I was feeling the FOMO. I had broker issues in the morning. Everything was kind of frozen, lagging. I literally thought that my Wi-Fi was down because I was just like the tape wasn't moving, the charts were frozen. I was freaking out. I was missed the front side. I was angry. I was emotional. I was mad. I thought oh my God, I'm missing such a good opportunity, and it was on the way up. So I basically said to myself, okay, if someone had a message me and said, Harry, I missed it. What would I say to myself if I was that person? And what I would say is exactly what I say all the time in weekend mentoring. And that's if you miss, you miss. And if you can't just get emotional and chase. And if someone had written that in weekend mentoring, how to deal with FOMO, and they wrote to me the same scenario, I'd be saying back, at that person, listen, if you miss, you miss. It's okay. It's the market. There are new opportunities every single day. Do not get emotional and do not chase. Oh, and that's exactly what I said to myself. Is I'm not going to go ahead and do that. So I waited for a first bounce type of play. I got rewarded. It was another insane type of volume play. But again, I can't go ahead and chase. That's just really not me. So this is kind of like the bigger picture. Obviously, this is a true day two type of move. And I was pretty happy with kind of how this turned out. I guess I was just basically salvaging what I could. And this is it. It's a little pathetic. I know. I missed the whole front side on the way up. I missed the whole thing. I was a little angry, but thankfully, I just caught the bounce and made probably about 50 cents or 60 cents or something like that. Which it's pretty good. And basically my mindset on this one was that we had kind of had this kind of resistance, and we had kind of this support in down here. So I was just going to play off that. I know a lot of people are going to ask me how come I didn't play off the $5. The reason why I didn't play off the $5 support is that I felt that it had to go lower. Because remember, maybe if this was a different type of market and we had less volume, maybe I would have played off the $5 line. But unfortunately, I knew that we probably needed to go lower. So that's why I kind of readjusted again, like I said at the start of this video. And just kind of bought this dip in around here. On this trade, I have to say I felt robbed. And maybe it's greed, maybe it's whatever, but if you go back and you kind of look at a dip buy similar to this, we had amazing range here. We had great amazing range. But on this one, I felt that this is like womp womp. It sucked. I was so mad. I was literally like, come on, go higher, go higher, go higher. And that's why I took it off. Thankfully, I've been kind of trying to work on like gauging my own emotions in a trade and gauging how emotional I am. And I took it off. I took it off. up here because I thought we have to go to 550. We have to kind of go. This should be more extended, but it just wasn't. I don't know if we just were getting lack of buyers or maybe the PDT rule with Robinhood or whatever, but it was not going higher. I was upset. And then here, basically, this was more so like a VWAP dip buy at around 450. I was just kind of playing off this kind of prior resistance level right here. Yeah, it ended up working out. I just sold again back into this kind of prior support, becoming resistance. I felt that we were probably going to go a little bit higher, and we did. And then after that, that was it. That was my trade on it. It kind of sucked. I missed the front side on the way up. I don't know how I would have played it. I have no idea. And the reason why is because, I mean, for me, you never know, right? You never know how you would have, maybe I would have taken a loss, or maybe I would have, I have no clue how I would have traded this. I do know that I did have orders around here, down here at 4. So I probably would have sold into 4.5, into this kind of breakout where all the breakout traders are buying. And who knows, maybe I would have bought this dip right here, and maybe I would have gotten a nice trade on it, but I don't. And I'm not going to sit here and be upset. Basically, all I could do was salvage this bounce, and that's all we got. So some tips for this video are that, remember, these trades are after years of hard work. All it takes is really one trade a day, guys. And you can see it right here. This is literally like 2 trades, right? So just remember that all it really takes is one trade a day. I also wrote this: multiple random trades versus one planned trade. I mean, the one planned trade is always going to be greater than the multiple random planned trades, right? I mean, if you have one good planned trade, thoughtfully planned, well-versed trade a day, that's great. Again, don't try and copy me. Like, if the stock is fading and you keep averaging down, it's not going to look good. It's not going to be pretty. So you don't do that one either. I just wanted to do recaps on these trades to kind of give you a glimpse into my head and how I was kind of feeling. And yeah, I mean, these types of trades and these GMPX and CIDMs, they don't happen every day. In this market, it seems like it will, but we'll have a time where the volume fades off, and you need to adapt to that as well and get back to kind of the nail and bail scalp mentality. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm always around. Hit me up, have a conversation with me, talk anytime. I'm literally always around. And yeah, so I hope everyone has a great day or night wherever you're from, and I'll see you for the next one.